Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. This looks off to me. I don't know. Continuing on birth month. Does it turn? We continue with our journey to the Austin Powers movies. Austin Powers in Goldmember. The best Austin Powers movie. I said it. I still really enjoy this movie. I have fun with it. I am watching this and I am saying the lines as they're saying the lines. I love this movie. Few issues, but I still love this movie. So the plot is that Dr. Evil has recruited a villain named Goldmember. And if it sounds like a familiar name, you're right in thinking that. For a new villain scheme. And we find that Goldmember has kidnapped Austin's father, so we asked her how to travel back to 1975 to save him. And there's twists and turns abound. And yeah. I will admit that towards the end of this movie it gets a little ridiculous. There's one character turns sides, and then there's a twist reveal, and then there's a goofy fourth wall breaking ending, and yes, that's a goofy towards the end. But I really still enjoy this. So yeah, the opening makes you think that you are seeing a continuation of the last one. You see Austin's car, you see a blonde woman on a motorcycle, and you think, oh, this is Austin and Felicity Shagwell, right? Well, as it turns out, no. And if you're watching this sequence, you're like, this seems more Bond than Powers, you know? And then when Austin lands, he turns into Tom Cruise. Yeah. And the woman was actually Gwyneth Paltrow. I believe they were dating at the time. As not Felicity Shagwell, but Dixie Normus. Because words. Yeah. And then you have Kevin Spacey as Dr. Evil, and Danny DeVito was Mini-Me because he's the only short actor they could think of. Aside from Troyer was always in the movie. Although you also had Danny Woodburn, or the guy from what's his name with the hair from Troll. He was Roland on Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That guy. There's other small actors you can use. But I digress. Yeah. So, Austin is doing this movie. This movie is a movie about Austin Powers' life called Austin Pussy. Yes. And it's directed by Steven Spielberg. Yeah. He says that the opening credits were wrong, even though later we see he's working to the ending credits. And Steven Spielberg brings out his Oscar and says, well, this, my friend says differently. He's like, let me show you how. And then we have the until we get to a Britney Spears music video for boys. And it turns out she's a fembot. I'm sure she's on the soundtrack, but did you really need a cameo from her? She's lip syncing, which is not unusual for Britney Spears. And then we settle to Austin finally getting knighted. Well, no, not yet. We settle into Dr. Evil cooking up another plan. He has a new plan called Preparation H, because it's a tractor beam. Instead of a laser beam, it's a tractor beam. He's going to use it to attract a meteor and have it hit Earth, causing global flooding. And he's with the help of a villain named Johann. I don't know. His name is Goldmember, which of course is a play on Goldfinger from the movie of the same name. Yeah. Only in this one, he's Goldmember because he was in a horrible smelting accident that left his Vinky made of gold. And later we find out it is a key. Don't ask why, it just is. Well, before anything can happen, Dr. Evil gets arrested. And only Dr. Evil and Mini-Me are arrested, everybody else is left. That confuses the hell out of me. They're all evil villains, but only Dr. Evil and Mini-Me are the ones that get arrested. They go to trial, Mini-Me moons the jury and the judge, and they go to prison. Dr. Evil to a maximum security prison and Mini-Me to a regular prison. What? But Frau Number 2 and Scott Evil and all the other henchmen and henchwomen are allowed to stay free. What? I don't know. Because of this, Austin finally gets knighted, despite the fact that they said at the end of the first one he was supposed to get knighted. And it took all the way to 2002. Or, if you go with my theory that the end of the first film actually took place in 1999, that took 2 years before they got married, then 3 years? I don't know. But yeah, he's finally getting knighted. Because at the end of the first one, they met when Basil pops in and he sees the junk or whatever. He says that Austin's going to get knighted, but here he finally gets knighted. Also, we're gonna have a gag about he has a deadbeat dad, which I wouldn't say my dad's a deadbeat. He just was never around, you know. I never got a real reason why. He just wasn't. But if you don't know everything, you can't blame it on one person or the other. You know. I don't know. I haven't told so many stories, and it just anyway. So Austin stands up after getting knighted and wants to have his dad take a bow. His dad is not there. Yeah. So at the end of the first one, during the credits, we got the BBC song. BBC 1, BBC 2, no, Mrs. Will ya bring me tea? Make love to me. Put on the telly to the BBC. But here we get probably the most memorable song from Ming T or Austin Powers. Daddy. Daddy wasn't there. It's all about how his dad's a deadbeat dad. Music video is on the DVD. And yeah. This is followed by Fook Me and Fook You. Yeah, Austin is at some after party when he meets a Japanese woman who says her name is a Fook Me. She goes to get him a drink, and the woman supposedly comes back real fast. Fook Me, that was fast. Fook You. Austin, he's my twin sister. Fook You, Fook Me. So he's all ready to get on with the twins when Basil shows up in person this time. Now he shows up in person. And he tells Austin that Austin's father was kidnapped. Oh, that's why he wasn't there. No, Austin, he was kidnapped after the ceremony. Gotta dig that hole a little deeper, don't you? So he has to travel back to 1975 to find Goldfinger and save his father. And he gets to travel in this pitmobile, as he calls it. I'm like, that's good. That's good because I'm assuming the other time machine was destroyed. Yeah, Dr. Evil still has it. Somehow. Because Goldmember uses it later. He travels back in time, Studio 69, 1975, this discotheque where he meets Foxy Cleopatra, who is she's a parody of blaxploitation characters like Foxy Brown or Hold On a Woman, But as it pertains to the Bond series, Rosie Carver from Live and Let Die. And she's a former lover of Austin's, and they try to keep continuity by saying that she hasn't seen him in 9 years. Or not 9 years, in 8 years, which is 1964, or 1967, excuse me, which is continuity-wise, yet she says she hasn't seen him since then. But what about that time he showed up in 1969 and made a big stink about everything? Everyone knew he was there. She wasn't aware of that. She does say that she hasn't talked to him since 1969, so maybe she was. Of course, she wasn't there, so I don't know. There's also a Nathan Lane cameo. Is her cover for talking? I don't know. But they sneak in and they find Nigel Powers, played by Michael Caine. Yes, I've heard. If they were planning for this the whole time, then they did a good job of making Mike Myers look like a young Michael Caine. Because he does. He does. The glasses and the hair and all that, yeah. So it works. Of course, Nigel acts like he, didn't need help. He has all the women that are there fawning for him. And after a gag, they are captured by Dr. Evil, who takes Austin's father and jumps to the future. And Austin has no choice but to bring Foxy back to the future with him in his Pitmobile. So now they're in the year 2002, which is way more technologically advanced than Foxy needs to see. And, yeah. Meanwhile, to track Goldfinger... Oh, I forgot, there's a whole subplot about Goldfinger. There's a whole little subplot too I forgot to mention. To find out about Goldmember, he goes to see Dr. Evil, and we parody The Silence of the Lambs, basically. And Dr. Evil says, I'll tell you everything you need to know. You take me out of this high security prison and put me in general population with Mini-Me, which even with Austin's pull wouldn't happen. There's also a weird flashback sequence that breaks the canon of this series, implying that Dr. Evil went to the same academy, the Spy Academy, and was to be named International Man of Mystery, but somehow, that's not explained, Austin Powers gets it. This is also they could do another gag that they just did where Austin's father doesn't show up. And this just makes no sense. Because there's so many things that Dr. Evil states before this movie that it just doesn't mesh with this. Even back to it here, he was found and raised by a Belgian man and his 15-year-old love slave named Chloe or Zoe, something like that. And I know that's not legal, but it's a movie, and so he also states that he was raised to be evil. It's even implied later. But he's at this school. Also, number 2 is there too. It's just for gags. I don't know. It's. I will say that the 2 young actors do a good job. Even the actor who's playing number 2. Hello, number 1. I'm number 2. Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But, we go back to where we were before I had to go backtrack. They have to go to Japan, because that's where Goldfinger is. Goldmember, excuse me. Apparently. He is there. They meet with Mr. Mr. Roboto, who is a parody of Mr. Osato from You Only Live Twice. Yeah. Also, we can have the joke, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. I thank you. And there's also a joke about how it's hard to read subtitles sometimes. Please eat what? Please eat some shiitake mushrooms. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, this is also, it's revealed that he caught on to them. They sneak around. They get caught. Blah blah blah. But this begins a chase to Japan that ends up. Well, they save Nigel, like I said. Again. Is it here that has? Is it here that's the one with it? No. No, because they didn't. Okay. They save him again, and they get in his Mini Cooper, which attaches to a giant dinosaur thing, which then they play the Godzilla theme, and it becomes Godzilla. And we see two Japanese people, one who is DK from Tokyo Drift, the other who is Hiro Nakamura from Heroes. And we get the gag, "Run, it's Godzilla! Due to international copyright law, it is not. Still, we should run like it is Godzilla! Though it isn't." I think it's funny. The dinosaur looks more like Reptar than Godzilla, but, whatever. But this is where they split, because Nigel has to disappear till the final act. And Austin goes back to the bureau or whatever and gets his own car, which he then finds out. So what I've been avoiding is the other subplots with the evil people. Scott Evil is now turning evil, and he's losing his hair because of it. And because he's becoming closer to Dr. Evil, Mini-Me is getting pushed back. Well, the tiny man can take a hint. Yes. Oh, also, I forgot that while they're in Japan, they met Fat Bastard. I don't want to talk about him. He got some poop jokes. The poop jokes in this, the gross out jokes, are less than before, but you get a... Honestly, I laugh at these where he's on the toilet taking a shit going, "On top of us, but... I'll cover with cheese. I lost my pot meatball. When somebody sneezed." What the? I did not have any corn. I'm sorry, I love that. I did not have any corn. I like that joke. "Hey, diaper lady. Here's my diaper." I think I may have pitched one off too soon. I like Fat Bastard in this one more than the last one. He was just annoying. Here he gets up some real funny lines. "Oh, I went on a Subway diet. Yeah, like Jared. Unfortunately, my neck does look like a vagina. Yeah." I don't know why. "Oh, look at my titties. You really are a fat bastard. That's my feeling, I tried losing weight. Cutting carbs, yeah." He's funnier in this one, I think. He's not in it as much, too. Besides this, and then at the end, there's really not much. Anyway, it all reconvenes at the end. They're ready to set up Preparation H. What I do like is that this is just the same old plan he's been doing for all three movies, where he's going to hold the world ransom for money. But what I do like is when he calls the World Security Council, they're like, "What, Dr. Evil?" Like, they've had enough. They've had enough of him with the same old planet. That's all it is. He wants $1 billion dollars. Or he was going to force a meteor to hit the Earth. And final act. They go through. There's fights. And Austin has Dr. Evil at gunpoint. And he's just going to shoot the fucker. He's like, I'm done, Oh, Mini-Me has switched sides. Mini-Me infiltrate. We get the behind the curtain gag like the last one. This one's not as funny other than when it looks like he's having a baby. But, yeah. And then Foxy, they separate. Foxy goes, "Oh, aye." And eventually they reconvene, and he's got Dr. Evil at gunpoint. This is where everything goes south. I will say that now he has the sharks with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads, which he wanted in the first one. Now he has it thanks to Scott. But This is where it kind of goes south. Or they do the gag with the, oh, it looks like only it's boobs this time. It doesn't go on as long as the last one with the Johnson, sir. This is about to shoot Dr. Evil. Nigel shows up. Dad, what are you doing here? I have to protect my son. I don't need you to protect me. Not you. Him. Yep. Because we retold, not only did we retell Dr. Evil's origin story, they assert here that he was adopted. You're adopted? Yes. He somehow remembered he was in the car with his mother, but not that he had another brother there. There was an explosion, and he survived thanks to her burning carcass being on top of her. And he was found by a Belgian man and his 15-year-old love slave named Chloe, and raised to be evil. That old shtick. Nigel retells the story here, and they composite a young Michael Caine here, which is pretty cool looking. Apparently it was a hit on him. He thought Austin was the only one that survived. So, yeah, they're a family. Yeah. It gets weirder. It does. Oh, it does. So, Dr. Evil just accepts this and gives him a hug, and then Austin gives him a hug. He's not heavy. He's my brother, baby. Yay! Now, this is a fun way when you think about it, where it's like, oh, they're both from Mike Myers, so they're brothers. Where does that leave Fat Bastard and Goldmember? Goldmember, you might be able to explain, because the beginning of the movie, Nigel explains there are two things that I hate: people who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch. Why does he hate the Dutch? Is it because he had an affair with a Dutch woman and she'd left him for some other man? But she didn't know she was pregnant and gave birth to Goldmember? Fat bastard, unless he slept with a Scottish bird. I don't know how that works. Could be. And because Goldmember looks older than the other two, he could have been born first. And that could have been his affair before he met the boys' mothers. I don't know. Also, Dr. Evil's name is Dougie. Douglas Powers is his real name. Goldmember has had enough. He still wants to launch Preparation H. By the way, I have to play this line. Yes, on the whole, I feel Preparation H feels good. I agree. Preparation H does feel good. On the whole. Why don't you just call it Operation Ass Cream, you ass? What's that? You want some ice cream? Yes, I would love some chocolate ice cream. Perhaps later. I love that exchange. Oh, I don't know. But why did this? It's bugging me because I keep putting on the air, and somehow air keeps getting in. Anyway, so they decide that together, Austin Powers and Dr. Evil have to stop Goldmember. Austin is going to try to climb up and distract Goldmember because Foxy throws the key into the water, but guess what? His Vinky was a key! Yes, because it's made of gold, it's a key, whatever. The air is just it's bugging me. I'm sorry. But, so they're able to knock him off the thing, and when he stands back up, he's John Travolta. Hey, assholes! Do I have time for one last smoke and a pancake or what? I'm Dutch, isn't that weird? You're like, what? And you realize that you're now watching the end of the Austin Pussy movie they were making at the beginning of the movie. However, there's one problem with this. We are supposed to believe that what they have just watched is the same thing as the movie we have just watched. The problem with that is that the Bond girl in the movie is Dixie Normus, not Foxy Cleopatra. This would have been saved if they brought Heather Graham back, and it was because Gwyneth Paltrow could play a Heather Graham, and it was Felicity Shagwell, that would work. But there's just no. Beyonce does not look like Gwyneth Paltrow, so sorry. And we see the same credits that were supposedly in the opening of the earlier another. And everyone is there, including Dr. Evil. And by the way, before Goldmember jumps back up, everyone is standing there like they're all going to be good now. Dr. Evil, Frau, number 2, Mini-Me. Well, Mini-Me turned good, and Scott has run off because he's still going to be evil because they set up for a sequel that never happened. But here's my issue. They're all going to jail for a very, 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 very long time. Doesn't matter who they're related to. They're all going to spend life in prison. He was sentenced to 400 years in prison because of war crimes. Crimes against the earth. They've held the earth hostage at least 3 times that we know of, and probably more than that. You can't just say, oh, well, he's a good guy now. No, he committed crimes. His ass is going to jail. All of them, including Mini-Me. Sorry, I don't care if you turn. They're all committed crimes. They're all going to jail. Okay? But that's not what we get. They don't show it here, but there was originally a gag, because it's in the music video for Daddy Wasn't There, where they once again showed that Nigel didn't show up to the movie premiere. I'm glad they took that out because it was kind of funny the first time, but not the second time. Here I think it would just be he'd look and see that he's not there. But yeah, this is all presented as they all went to the movie. It's going to be happy ever after. And again, much like with Felicity, you need to take... Felicity needs to go back to 1975. You've plucked her from the timeline. Who's to say she wasn't going to find someone else and get married and have a child? Well, if that child becomes a secret agent, you know? What if something important happens within Foxy's timeline? And by plucking her out, you've negated that timeline. You need to put her back. Maybe that's why Felicity's not here anymore. Who knows? Who knows? One last thing is that we go back to Dr. Evil's Hollywood lair, which, by the way, that's absolutely stupid because that's where he was caught before. And Scott Evil is now there, now completely bald and wearing a black Dr. Evil suit. And he's dancing around saying, I'll get you, Austin Powers. We never got a 4th one, which is a shame because I've always loved this one. It's pretty good. Yes, the ending is a bit of a cop-out because it switches to the movie, and it doesn't make any sense because the events that we were seeing from the movie that we saw at the beginning had nothing to do with this movie, but I don't know. And if Goldmember, and I don't think Frau or number 2 or anyone else was at the movie theater, so maybe Dr. Evil and Mini-Me were let out of prison to see the movie. I don't know, but I like this movie. I think it's the best of the Austin Powers movies. I had fun with it. It's pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on Austin Powers and Goldmember? No comments below. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Sky, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.